kills me. It's ridiculous so hard. Okay, let's do another question.
Hi, I was wondering, how long does recording take for each season? And then has recording for season 4 started yet?
Yes, we have recorded, I think we've recorded every episode of season 4.
Wow.
And, you know, we usually can knock out a full episode in a day, like in a single recording session. And they tried to get as many of us in the room as possible, but it's you know, it's a space with limited amount. So I think at most there might be a day where it's like, you know, I'm just thinking in my head, like David and PJ and me, and then maybe like JK, Simmons, Maria Bamford. There's probably room for like 8 people or something like that. And so sometimes you have to do little rotations where, like, depending on whose scenes you have with whom, you'll go in with that group. I record with Janora a lot. I got to record with Eva Marie Saints a lot because a lot of my scenes are with her, which are great. But yeah, so, and when we're recording a season, we're usually recording every week, just for a day every week, for, you know, I don't know, like 13 or 14 weeks, right? But then we're also kind of coming in and doing ADR for past seasons that haven't aired yet. So some animation will come in, and they'll have us come in and do like a fight scene or something like that. And that's always the best because you actually get to see a snippet of the stuff. So I guess all I've seen is like the end of season 3, but pretty soon I'll start seeing little pieces of season 4 as they start to roll in. But it just takes such a long time for that stuff to get animated because so much of it's done in hand and then it gets sent away, and then that process happens. So it really does take forever. And by the time stuff airs, usually I don't remember what's happened. I'm like, oh my god, that's right! Whoa, that happened! Oh my god, yeah. So it's cool because that's a really fun part of it, is that it keeps it really fresh for the actors too, which is different than seeing yourself and doing on-camera stuff. I think somehow you remember that stuff differently, and it's also more painful to watch. Okay, next question. Hi.
After the first 2 seasons, did you ever at any point start to get worried that you were going to do nothing but fight evil waterbenders?
Well, I'm glad to say that didn't end up happening, per se, but yeah, I think that was one of the great things about season 2, right, is just having the interaction with the spirit world. I just want all those spirits, good and bad. I said that right in my Q&A yesterday for those of you who were here. I desperately want someone to just make a little miniature. I can just have one of those like miniature printer's boxes where it's just like, and these are my 75 spirits. Like, please don't move on until you've looked at each one and paid it respect. But yeah. Thanks.
So there's Team Avatar, you know, Korra, Asami, Bolin, Mako, and then there's the villains who are always, you know, the focus of their little arcs. Who would be your favorite B-lister out of all the other characters on the show?
Okay, so my favorite B-lister, like someone like Tano, for example.
Tano or Asuka and
yeah.
her brother's name, or one of the Airbender kids, or one of those sort of characters.
Yeah. Well, I've said before yesterday that I love Jeff Bennett's announcer character. Like, I would love to just be like in a restaurant with him and watch him be like, "I'll take noodles, I'll take this." You know? I just love him so much. A major shout out to Dee Baker, who does every voice that Great Lyle doesn't do. I love that. I love all his animal sounds. They're just so amazing. That's also, I mean, I don't know what you call that a B-list character, because those are pretty important, but I thought Tom was great. I mean, what a weirdo. So awesome. What a great voice. So well done. Yeah, love that. And then, who else? I don't know, what about you guys?
Very.
I don't know why I asked this, because all the names jumble together and it just sounds like you were like, of course, wonderful character that was. Oh boy. Okay, next up, let's go to another question.
Hi, I was supposed to see you in Houston, so it's really exciting to get to see you
Oh,
here.
good. I'm so sorry I wasn't there. boy, yeah, I missed 2 cons this year. Terrible.
I was wondering, listening to you talk and stuff, you sound like a really sweet, nice person, and I was wondering
Doesn't mean true.
if you had like a routine to get you into Korra's mindset before you record.
Yeah, someone asked this a similar question yesterday. I don't know that I do much to get into that mindset. I don't know that I really need to, because it really does feel to me like the second I'm in the booth and I see her name and all of that stuff comes to life on the page, you know, I really just kind of go there. But I've also been doing it a long time. I think if I think back to the beginning, I've said this before in a couple of interviews, but sometimes when you're auditioning, and I was pretty new to voiceover auditioning, period, when I got Korra, so I was still kind of like, what do people do? Like, what do the pros do? How do people do this? Someone said, you know, sometimes it helps if, it's not about doing impressions, but if you have a character or a person in your mind who you think in some way has like a quality or qualities that feel right to you based on whatever information you have, whether it's, you know, I did have a picture of Korra, I sort of had a sense of who she was, and then of course in the lines, especially in the first episode, as you guys remember, because that's kind of what we auditioned off of, she was definitely very sarcastic and, you know, kind of acted like she knew what was what, and so I don't know that, like, I knew this at the time, but I started to realize in the audition process, like, I feel like I'm reminding myself of someone, who is it? And I kind of came to it backwards, but I think I had this vague idea of Christina Ricci in my mind, like when she was younger, like as Wednesday Addams, or in this great movie that she's in called The Opposite of Sex, where she's just this kind of like know-it-all, and she just can't be bothered, and you know, she tries not to be like too emotional, and if any emotion, she has any emotion, it's like anger or like snappishness. So I think that there was a point at the beginning where I would kind of think about that and kind of try to channel that energy, which I do certainly have. Like, I mean, I definitely was, you know, I have a lot of sarcasm in me. Yeah, so that's probably the closest to kind of getting into character that I've done. But now she's just kind of always in there, which is cool, because I can just sort of hang out with her. That made me sound like I was insane. Okay, hi.
I'm Asami Sato.
Yes, you are.
And my question is about like character development, but not only with Korra's personal character development, but how she developed in relationships with other characters, and you know, got to know like other people. I know one of to me the most prominent one was with Tenzin. She resented him so much, and
Yeah.
she's going to like really love and respect him.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, what's like the most evident change?
Oh, that's a great question. Boy, well, I think that, you know, I think we saw it in season 2 in a big way, and we're starting to see it in season 3 too, but I think that there's honestly like a weariness to her that she didn't have in the beginning, right? It's when you sort of have, when you get pushed around enough, or when you kind of see too that like, you start to see that some of the choices you're making you were so cocky about don't necessarily result in exactly what you were hoping for. I think that there's some fatigue there, right? I mean, we've really seen her take a licking. So I feel like even when she makes choices, I don't even know. Like, I know I was complaining about that earlier when we talked about do I have any criticisms of her, but I do think that she does doubt herself more. And I think that the balance that we all kind of need to try to find is like knowing when you really don't know, and knowing when you need to lean on someone else, and then also knowing when you can really trust your gut, and above all to still respect yourself, but that doesn't mean like being pompous about it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think she's softening some, and I think while she's not always making the strongest choices, I think that she's growing up a little bit, and I think she is understanding how important it is to rely on other people. Yeah, great question. How about the next one?